LBZS, or do you feel like Cloud might have this game on the back?
I actually do believe in LBZS's draft because it's a very quirky one with one very specific thing in mind that just allow the enemy team to not do damage. You don't really have magical burst coming out from Cloud outside of Sharpshooter, I guess, and you have so much physical resist on the side of LBZS. Frost Armor, Fade Bolt, Sven with a War Cry plus the Shard down the line, Anchor Smash coming through, a Mars on top of that. Like, if you look at the lineup of Cloud, if this game for Cloud, if they don't hit this big swing by 15 and overwhelm their lanes earlier on as well, the durability just kicks in by levels from LBZS. They don't even need to itemize around it. Once you pick up something even just like a Guardian Greaves, you're probably not killing anyone but the squishiest Rubik or Lich in backline. Like, these cores are just so hard to burst down.
I think that's a very good point you've made, John. It just feels like nobody's going to die here on LBZS. And well, if you can't kill him, well, you're going to have a few issues. And speaking of issues, Mercy top lane, he's got a couple issues right now because he's going to give first blood away. Fontaine the one to take it out on the position one Sven. Meanwhile, bottom lane, a bit more action breaking out. TZY taking a fair bit of damage on the tide, but has plenty of tangos. Meanwhile, CSJ is still being chased down here by Fontaine. As slow is there as well from Gorgor, and CSJ might just be dead. In fact, he will stick charge and he will barely survive. He did have a fairy fire anyway, so he probably would have survived through it. But what a fantastic start already for LBZS.
Yeah, it goes exactly how they'd want it to go. First blood coming out for Fonte. He's going to be feeling great about that.
Uh-oh.
And if you don't reset, you're just going to get bursted.
Yeah. You can't run in like that against a Sven and a Lich. Like, the amount of magic damage they have at level 1 is pretty darn high.
It is. There's a lot of spam ability coming out. Both of them have like 3 mangoes each, so they can run down. The mid lane that we are currently looking at, this one should be probably the best lane for Cloud. You can outplay the Mars, although it's not a direct win, mind you. We have seen Mars kind of just hold that lane as well and keep the farm game up and kind of stay equal with the Tusk. And that's where things get a little bit frisky for Cloud. You need at least 1 lane to pop off, preferably 2 here, but you got to get the strong start out for Butterfly Effect. Yeah, top lane.
Yeah, top lane's a disaster already. Mind you, Gorgor is the one to take 2 kills on the Lich, so at least you aren't giving all those kills away to the Sven. But he is getting bonus XP, he's free farming the creeps, top of the CS board at the moment. Like you said though, saving graces, the mid lane is going decently and the bottom lane isn't going too badly either for Cloud. It's mostly this off lane of Cloud that's really suffering right now. But you look back into the mid, Dolphin very low on HB, still finding farm but can't really contest Butterfly Effect on this mid Tusk. And of course the bottom lane as well. This Nature's Prophet, he's having a great old time.
Now, you are getting that strong start for Ice Limit, who is playing this time around for Cloud. And there's really not too much you can do as the Rubik plus the Tidehunter here, at least until levels stack up. They have at least kept the tree line cut, so you're not going to get the angles out for Starif to kind of harass out. You are going to have to play slower here for LBZS. And with that space, Ice Limit should work himself up to a pretty good timing for the Maelstrom and just play active. They've got to be pretty active here, even from the NP, at least in terms of trying to take the map over. You want to cause those issues Lizard pointed out. You want to see this Tide sharing farm with a Sven. If you don't manage to shut down the map, and they do find space to sustain these rather greedy tricores that all have the same timing in LBZS, and the Cloud can get run down. So this strong start for Ice Limit sets a good tone. And all things considered...
Mercy, he's playing on the edge here, John, this Hoodwink. CSJ is going to move in. Pushback will land. This could be a nice pickup for them. Gorgor going to pop the Frost Shield. Will still go for the fight. It might actually have Mercy. They'll heal him up, but the Stormhammer's going to fly in. It's still a great trade. Fonte, he'll be very thankful about that second kill on the Sven. He doesn't even miss any creeps as he walks over. Everything's just perfect.
No, it's just still keeping that farm game up, getting the CS you'd want. And the top lane's just overwhelming. It's not the easiest lane for the LCs we've seen. Sure, you die in Guo Guo, but he does get to reset, go to Dolphin for bottle top out to help him stay in that lane, which is a lane that they really want to repair on LBZS. But again, you're not really expecting the side of Cloud to really rotate too much mid either. Maybe down the line you could send Mercy in, but with the levels that Mercy's getting from this lane, or the lack of levels he's getting, it doesn't feel like his rotation would be the most impactful anytime soon. So you do have a little bit of room here to just have the Mars hold its own.
Ancients being stacked, very, very nice. LBZS still in the driver's seat by the looks of it, though. I say that, CS going the way of the Tusk, and of course Ice Limit here on the Prophet. Again, it is really only the top lane that's going extremely smoothly here for LBZS. Rotation up top here from Butterfly Effect as well. He will show up on the Tusk. Right now, all they see is the Lich. Gore going to be the sacrificial lamb. Butterfly Effect going to show himself, looking for his shards onto the Sven in the tree line. Not really going to find it. And that's really nice positioning from the Lich. If they can get the Sven out of here, it will be well worth his life, as they are going to TP some heroes in to try and help out. CSJ is going to cut off Fonte. That'll allow the snowball with the vision, but here come the rotations. Butterfly Effect, he doesn't have level 6, but they will secure the Sven kill. Problem is, it may cost his own life, but a nice press the attack is going to allow the Tusk to get away. And that seemed like a very important rotation here from Cloud. This Sven just felt like he was getting away with a bit too much.
Yeah, you get a great rotation from Butterfly Effect, who does still have the TP to head back mid, which is abandoned for a moment by Dolphin with his own TP coming up top. So everything lines up. They're allowing some recovery to come out for CSJ, and just allowing that Legion to get a little bit of recovery in lane, which is always good to see. You kind of need to get into that 6 mark. I would say that Mercy's levels are just as important to kind of tie in with that dual combination, like dual sharpshooters, your really big nuking combo along with a Walrus Punch. So you do want that top lane to find something here. And with the levels starting to pour in a little bit more, they are getting a lot better in trading the hits back onto Guo. Fonte is still at the point where, well,
bit of a chase going on here, John. Tidehunter, he's not going to die. The problem is you don't have the lockdown for him. Like, once they've committed Sprout and the Leech Seed into the Nature's Grasp, you don't have enough for the old Tide. This is without him having any really defensive items. Just has a Soul Ring Brown Boots at the moment, but is able to just walk away. And I suppose this is why the stacks have been made here by Helios. You might want that catch-up farm for this Tide, because you do want those Guardian Greaves on. Though he isn't building Guardian Greaves, he's building Phase Boots.
He's going Phase Boots into Ags, so he wants to focus on that deep push coming out to counteract the Nature's Prophet with his shove-in that he'd want to do. I mean, you could still probably go Guardian Greaves, or at least mech on someone else, maybe mech on Lich is what you could go for. We've seen mech Rubik before as well, so you have a couple of options to shift that item duty towards. I do like that there's an interesting change-up in itemization. Like, if you are assuming TCYs take stacks, then the Midas coming out from Fonte makes a lot more sense, right? Because you tend to go Mask of Madness to clear out these stacks, but Midas means that you're not looking to take these pieces of flash farm away, so they are willing to compromise on some farm here on LBZS's side. The issue is that is punishable. Again, the start for Cloud isn't the worst in the world outside of top, so they do have some tempo that can come true. If they can tie into this early timing as it approaches on the 10 to 12 minute mark, that's when LBZS can get run down.
Bottom lane, Starov trying to get aggressive. Leech Seed will slow down TZY, but will Snowball, is it going to connect? Doesn't seem like it. Shards off the mark as well, and Helios will just be able to lift up the Tusk. So this rotation from Butterfly Effect not going to pan out. And can I go back to the Ags for a second, John, on TZY? In fact, hold that thought, because top lane there's a bit of action. There is going to be a grasp out onto CSJ, but there's going to be no follow. Going back, I like it as well. Like, you pointed out the D push, but that minus armor and the slow, when you combine the level 10 and 15 talent on this Tide, it is so annoying to play against this Aghanim Scepter, because you get the 10% gush slow, and then you get 120 plus damage on the gush. It's really obnoxious, because it's quite spammable as well.
Oh, Helios? Oh, God.
Yeah, Helios, he is going to drop.
Almost ran out. He got the lift back into the shards for Butterfly Effect. They had to pop the Rat of Nature just to get that kill. I mean, it still works out. You're still getting that aggression out for Cloud. They're starting to clump up as 3 heroes on the mid. And knowing that LBZS aren't in a position to really counterfight. Like, they don't have Ravage, they don't have a Blink Up, no early BKBs, it's way early for any of that. So this is their window to just kind of buy space, get Ice Limit a free lane down bot by forcing movement elsewhere, and just, you know, getting that timing they want by the 12 to 15 minute mark. It is starting to build up.
Top lane, Gorgor being chased down here for a duel, but instead the Mars TP's into Vision, and he is going to drop. And they'll still have the Lich under control here with the shards out. The Dolphin trying to help his Pos 5 Lich, but it does cost his own life, and CSJ is going to have the tip over. Why the hell not?
Yeah, there were a lot of pre-game tips onto CSJ, as we're seeing again. I mean, they did bully out his lane. No, I don't know.
I mean, he's
there's something about anyone at XSJ as their names. They just tend to be targeted by tips.
That's fine. You kind of deserve it if you pick a name like that, I'll be honest, John. Especially if you make YouTube content. Fonte. Dire Triangle, he'll go for the stacks now. So it does turn out he's just going to take them. I think that's still fair. You're going to require this guy to carry you through the game. He wants to stay ahead of the Prophet at all times if he can. That's exactly what he'll do by taking these stacks away. And of course, with the God Strength, it doesn't really feel like you need the Mask of Madness anyway. Especially when you have Helios there with the Fade Bolt. Though there might be some intervention, though Mars does get caught out here by a Bushwhack, but Dolphin proving to be a little bit too tanky as Butterfly Effect. So annoying with that shards, blocking him in, forcing Dolphin to farm up some CS with the spear, and naturally it does allow Dolphin, or rather Butterfly Effect, to be able to go for the Arcane Rune as well quite safely. Meanwhile, Fonte, my goodness, getting very, very low. Again, lucky he has the Rubik behind him with the Fade Bolt. Is going to be okay, and still remains top of the net worth board by just about 600 gold in front of Butterfly Effect.
And it's coming at a huge sacrifice, though. Both Dolphin and TZY are barely ahead of any of the supports. They have really just not had this strong run coming after themselves. Their lane's just not the best in the world, and they haven't really been able to get aggressive with these tanky heroes just yet. It has been Cloud running all over the map. It has been Cloud with the rotations, with their support to a heck. Just Butterfly Effect plus Helios is more than enough. And it's very little committal for them to make that as well.
Bottom side, Mercy ends up missing a Bushwhack, and the Sharpshooter goes right through as well. TZY looks like he'll be able to tank through it now. He does have Ravage, so if they bring a +1, they could turn, and here comes the Mars. The Dolphin, I believe, was within vision there, so they know he's around. Sharpshooter was stolen as well, but that's not going to land either from Helios. The Dolphin, he doesn't have any way of kind of getting in to range, though he's going to just try and run the old-fashioned way. Does have Arena up. Meanwhile, top lane, they found Fonte. More rotations down towards the bot side as well, John. Looks like LBZS may get caught with their pants down. They've popped a Ravage, but it's only landed onto Starif. CSJ's here, so is Butterfly Effect. A nice overgrowth being used up here by Helios, locking them down for a moment, but it's just not gonna matter. It's a 4-for-1. Just disastrous team fights coming up from LBZS.
Yeah, they heavily forced that issue down there, just chasing into the tier 1s, not respecting the counterfight control that you do have on Cloud's end with the overgrowth. They stalled that out really well. The solo pickoff for Fonte up top was really the bigger surprise. Maybe it just goes back down to not having a source of lifesteal, and that is where the Midas versus Mask of Madness comes in. If you are clearing out these stacks without some lifesteal, you will lose a lot of HP like we saw in the Ancients. And then when you switch out onto the lane, you're much more exposed than you would be otherwise. So they find some good punishment on CSJ with that little solo play. He has his Blade Mail up now. And for the side of LBZS, well, the timing's lining up for Cloud. So this is when your lineup just feels ridiculously underfarmed, which it is. Again, look at Dolphin and TZY's net worth. A good 1k behind at minimum compared to CSJ. And CSJ had a really rough lane, so he's recovered much better than the side of LBZS. Yep, the side of LBZS now, it's all about enabling Fonte, trying to get at least a blink up on Dolphin, and then playing around with just arena pickoffs for the time being. You know, get that build-up you want on Fonte, and try to get that build-up on TZY. Like this early Ags rush, while it does make sense with the talent spikes, and with the Nature's Prophet push counteracting it, that you do want to counteract, missing out on an early Guardian Greaves here really impacts that survivability play we talked about.
Sharpshooter, this time gonna land. I do tend to agree with you on that. I think they want the Ags up so they can allow the Sven to just run in, not get kited too much, you know, have the slow, have the minus armor from the Gush, but I do agree, like the Guardian Greaves, it's just so valuable in this current meta. that it's just rough to not have it up. And well, obviously TZY not going to farm it, and nobody else is either here for LBZS. They do rotate, big smoke up. Problem is they are going to be fighting into the Gleipnir of this Prophet now, so Iceland are going to have a great old time in the next team fight as Dolphin, already being caught out mid lane, is going to drop. And that is the reveal of the Gleipnir to come out from Iceland. But they're into the T1 mid tower, and this smoke from LBZS, it just amounts to 0.
They're not able to get anything done with it. They didn't have the most aggressive vision on that bot jungle.
Oh,
and they didn't have their Mars with them. Oh boy.
Yeah, Helios, he's going to get sniped by the sharpshooter. Gorgor just cannot get away from Butterfly Effect this game. He does get a nice chain cross, but it really doesn't matter. Fonte, maybe he can hope to trade. Ravage popped, but it's landed on 2, and they don't want to fight. Sprout's blocking the way of Fonte. In fact, now the jump in. Butterfly Effect has no fear, but a nice arena going to lock a couple down. They've only caught the hoodwink, though. It seems like Ice Limit is happy to fight, but he's kind of trapped up between a rock and a hard place, and a double stun comes out. CSJ, he takes down Fonte, but at least they found Ice Limit. But look at CSJ. Not getting locked down by the spear. He just wants to keep the fight going. In goes Butterfly Effect as well. Dolphin is probably going to drop. It's a complete massacre. Ultra kill for CSJ, and he wants the rampage. He's onto Gorgor. The Lich just trying to run. CSJ's not going to allow it. He'll keep chasing him down. He might die for this though, but no, the jewel comes out. The tier 2 tower. No. CSJ.
No.
Oh, I suppose tips aren't the only thing that comes with the name, John. Bit of feeding here from CSJ.
I can't. I can't. He just needed one proc from Moment of Courage. It didn't come out at all. I mean, it's still a disaster for LBZS, but hey, you have 28 damage in Guo Guo. That's great. If you had the Lich talents, it still made you right-click. That would be amazing. Unfortunately, you don't. And this game is... It's still really rough for LBZS. Like, they're trying to get aggressive early with their Sven, and they are getting some runs in, but it's so difficult without any sort of protection or any sort of jump in from Fonte. Like, without that blink, he can't set up with a stun that well. Without a blink on TZY, he can't get the ideal Ravages. You do have your blink up on Dolphin now, so at the least you have the arena to start things off with, but BKBs have to come out as well. Like, you can't allow yourself to keep getting controlled up by the Hoodwink in particular, and by the Tusk. You've got to be able to still run around, play this game, avoid magical damage, and play with your physical durability.
Look at the laugh on TZY, he loves it. The worst part is, John, before that duel, he was 1 tick away from overwhelming odds. He could have just waited and just sniped him the tree line, but instead he wanted the duel damage. Bottom lane, Dolphin. He's going to jump in. They've got Butterfly Effect, but the press the attack is going to enable him to keep fighting. CSJ right behind him, though a nice chain force going to bounce through, but a big overgrowth. Starov, he locks down 4, but there's no follow-up. It's only Ice Limit hitting, and it seems like LBZS are going to turn this team fight around, though, a big overwhelming odds. But it won't matter. Fonte gets a triple kill on the Sven, and that's exactly what you don't want to do. Sfonte is not done yet. He'll chase down Mercy. Mercy has Bushwhack back up, needs to throw it out, gets gushed up by TZY, and eventually Mercy will get caught. Fonte, he'll get right back to farming. But that's a massive ultra kill now coming up for Fonte. And again, that's really not what you want to give over to a Sven if you can avoid it.
And it feels like Cloud isn't respecting the blinks. They clumped up really hard in that bot tier 1 trying to get the push out. You get this really good angle for Dolphin to come in, take care of Butterfly Effect first, remove the annoyance of that Tusk with a snowball and the shards, and the fight just simplifies. Like, yes, you still have a Rook, you still have the Splatnir coming through, but it does feel like without the Tusk, you are free to do a lot more on the side of LBZS. And if they keep their target priority up, they can maintain that fairly well. On the side of Cloud, though, immediate smoke out with CSJ, duel its back up. He's got Mercy around with Sharpshooter. They can still play this pick-off game. The supports are still rather squishy, and with that lack of Guardian Greaves on either one, they are really vulnerable when they're separated from their cores. Just need to find that angle.
Yeah, here we go. Jewel out, bottom side. They've got the Jewel, and that's TZY down. More Jewel damage to go the way of CSJ. LBZS. Rest of them will go for a bit of a run, though. Mercy is on the chase here on the Hoodwink, but does see Fonte and realizes he probably should not jump in. Because Fonte now has his own BKB, just arrived on the courier, so plenty more defensibility available now on the Sven, and they might want to fight. They know Cloud are probably still in the area. Dolphin's thinking about blinking up, but won't do so yet. In fact, he finds Starif, but misses the God's Rebuke, and that's a bit of a shame because the Treant was under vision. Just maybe a bit of a misclick here from Dolphin.
It happens sometimes. Starif, immediate blink out, but that is still open his angle up to get this bot tier 1 push. The side of Cloud are still in position to defend, but they are under vision still.
Oh, here we go again. Starif, he'll show up. Overgrowth committed. Does get stolen immediately by Helios, and well, that's a bit of a... That's an interesting maneuver from Starif, because not only do you give up your life, but more importantly, you give the Overgrowth to Helios.
Yeah, that's been a big tool for the side of Cloud to take these team fights as well, and it's their one thing to counteract these BKBs. It is spell immunity piercing, so gives him additional... It does come true.
Here we go, maybe a bit of a fight to break out. Dolphin, he's caught Mercy, but misses out on CSJ. Mercy still willing to try and force a fight here. Does get the sharpshooter, but is eventually going to die. Still, they've got the Mars, and they might just have the Mars. Overgrowth was committed here by Helios, locking them down, and now the Jewel is out. Chain Frost committed, but there's not enough damage. TZY, he'll get the ramp ravaged just in the nick of time as they see Ice Limit, but do they want him? The answer is no. He will be okay. It's going to be a 2-for-3 trade going in favor of Team Cloud as they are not done yet. They'll find another. That'll be Gore on the Lich going down, and well, Cloud, they are fighting back. It seems like we've lost John for a moment, so we'll give him a minute to reconnect. So Cloud, currently 2k ahead. It's been a very back and forth game.
Hello.
Keep in mind now you do have the Ags up on the tide, and we'll see what kind of difference it does make for him in these team fights. Seems like Cloud might try for the old Roshan play. They have got Deso up and Butterfly effect now, and that's exactly what they're going to try and do. Scan is there, but it does feel like you probably just get away from this. Hello, John.
Hello, I'm back. I disconnected right as that fight broke out. Very unfortunate. No, we've had a lot of rain here as well, Mike, as I heard you complaining earlier on. I mean, This is going to be a bit of a toughie for LBZS. They're just going to have to give it up. Like, they do have their heroes ready. They're not in position. And,
Who they caught? Yeah, it's going to be TZY trying to get the vision with the Gush. Going to give his own life away because the Ags was just built up, and that's the reveal of the Ags. But, you know, in terms of stealing Roshan, not going to pan out for him.
no. And that's a big take for Cloud. A lot more room for them to play the way they want to. With a protection, you have an Ice Limit with his own BKB up. The instant control coming out from the side of LBZS. With the Arena Spear, it's gonna be a lot harder to land. Like, finding Ice Limit and getting him pinned down first. It's not your priority. I still feel like you do want Butterfly effect taken out first, but it will put a notch in when you're trying to take care of this NP. And the push can accelerate with that Deso on Butterfly effect, so top tier 2 under pressure. Smoke out here, though.
Here we go. Mercy, he's the first target. Fonte trying to get through him, but the Overgrowth, no, it's not going to be enough to save. In fact, Starif trying to run. We'll give the grasp away to Helios, and that means he's probably set to die as well, as they will get the vision, and they will take him down. Still a very back and forth game between these two teams. Seems like 1 minute Cloud's winning, next minute LBZS is winning. It's just 2k advantage, but it's really nothing to write home about for Cloud. It's just not enough 23 minutes into the game.
Yeah, the Sven is still this massive damage dealer that you don't really have the best burst damage for. Like, yes, Tidehunter and Moras are supposed to be durable. They don't really feel that way right now. There's no auras coming into play here. So when you do manage to pin one of them down and get the sharpshooter on top, it doesn't take too much to melt either one, but Fonte is the one exception. He is super hard to pick off. He's still managing to like hyper carry for this team despite both Dolphin and TZY being pretty dirt poor for cores. You do have the full BKB up on CSJ, so he can go for some bigger dual plays now. Maybe look to just constantly jump those bigger cores we've seen him do when they're isolated, and they will smoke up with that item.
Well, Cloud. Just try and move in. Helios should be there to break the smoke, and will do so. So they'll find themselves a Ruby. They might chase even for a little bit more. The Gush is going to slow them down, and they'll be okay, everyone else at least. Then Dolphin trying to get back towards his base should be just fine to keep running, and they won't be able to close the gap. Problem is, this tier 2 top tower is eventually just going to melt to the damage of Ice Limit once the back door, expires here as the creep wave is moving their way in. That'll mean your outpost is gone here for the Dire. Problem is, though, Bloodthorn now fully built up on Fontaine. That's huge.
Oh yeah, allow him to just really get that chain control off, get some burst damage off. You probably won't be able to do it on Ice Limit, but anyone else is pretty fair game, although you do still have to be worried about CSJ. Would have pressed the attack to purge off that control. But still, the output on Fontaine now is starting to hit pretty ridiculous levels, going for the Satanic next.
Oh, nice bushwhack. Mercy catching two on the tree line, completely blind. Overgrowth, though, it's going to hold a couple down once again. Ravage committed. They've got Butterfly Effect down. They've got Starif down. TZY will die, but it's well worth the cause. The Dolphin? No, they'll still find the Hoodwink. And now Ice Limit.
Oh,
just trapped up between so many die. TZY is brought back. I guess it's okay to make sure the Prophet dies. He misses the Gush anyway, to be fair, but I mean, yeah, worth it, I guess, for TZY. Just to be there, John, just to witness history.
Yeah, it's all about team cohesion. They get another route.
He hit the Gush. He hit the Gush. It's worth it. CSJ's running. There's another Gush, John. Look at the impact. That's it. Well worth it. Into the mid lane you go.
Yep, just go on. They get the full team wipe. We're seeing the BKB. Ice Limit just stands his ground. Maybe he stands his ground too long. He TPs right in the middle. Once the BKB fades, he's not an issue at all for the side of LBZS once that protection's gone. So you do have to be wary about your positioning here on the Nature's Prophet. And the side of LBZS, again, this is a really back and forth game, Mike. But I do feel like now at 26 minutes in, the scaling of LBZS should kick in way more in comparison to Cloud. Like, they find Dolphin,
Dolphin. That they have. Dolphin, really no way to survive through this. Is just going to drop. Seems like TZY really doesn't want to be here right now, but Mercy's going to run right into him and always sees him with the Acorn shot. They don't have the sharpshooter, though, so it's going to make it a little bit tougher to take TZY down. Sprout will kind of lock him in. Leipnir as well, bushwhack to boot. He does have TP, but it's like, when can he commit it? Starif gets the overgrowth in time. He is dead. No way of getting out. That'll be the dieback of TZY immediately happening.
Oh God.
May I just point out as well, John, because our observer did kind of show us this. After he bought back, he does hit level 15, which allows him to have that talent at level 15 with the plus 120 gush damage. So you could make the argument that earlier buyback was for the sake of having that level 15 talent and having the Ags truly have the impact. I'm just trying to find a positive reason, John.
I know. I was just gonna say maybe it was a misclick and just decided to TP. I was like, all right, I messed up. Just might as well try to find something. It's a big pickoff though. Without the Tread of Tide, no Ravage turnaround. You do have Arena up and God's Strength, so you can fight here.
Onto the Hoodwink. That'll be Mercy gone, and now a nice Arena from Dolphin, but the BKBs are out in time. CSJ, Ice Limit trying to run. Spear will not land, but Ice Limit, he can't be left alone. They've got to defend him. They're going to try. Walrus punches out, and they've got him. Fontaine is down. They've got the Sven, and now they can turn this team fight around once again. So the chase is on for CSJ. Butterfly Effect right behind Helios, and here comes Ice Limit. The Ice Limit, I'm not sure. You've got to be a little bit cautious, but Dolphin, he hasn't got the follow-up damage. He will drop as well. And Gorkor, he will join his team. Now the only person alive is, of course, TZY. But there's really nothing he can do but spam Gush and hope to defend high ground.
Yeah, he can stall out the push. It's a big win this time around for Cloud. They split up the fight. They get spacing out. That's the big correction from the last time they fought in with these fresh BKBs. They drag the side of LBZS backwards, away from the arena, away from their control, and just kite the Sven. That's all they really need to do to win these fights. They've got this opportunity to push high ground, and there's not much you can really do to stop it. Yes, Gush is there, but it's just the tide against the world right now. More than enough for the side of Cloud to feel comfy. And for LBZS, I mean, they can deal with one set of racks down, or at least one melee creeps racks down. You can, again, de-shove it with your tide. But we've got to kind of see... You've got to see them be able to burst someone down again. That's where they're most successful. Once these BKBs get flicked on in the middle, I mean, arena's down, you're not going to be able to find a good angle for Ravage, and it just gets really wonky to fight here.
Oh, that's a big kill. Butterfly effect, he should just take it. Oh, he's got the Manta, or the illusions rather. He's going to barely get out. No, he's dead. He is dead. He is dead, John. Never mind me. CSJ. I wanted him to get out. Lich gets caught. CSJ, he'll pick up another duel win. 132 for him. TZY. Gonna be just fine. Go on, John.
Yeah.
Analysis.
Yeah, I'm just having a...
Bot lane.
I don't know.
It actually works out. I mean, Dolphin's kind of running. He does have TP, but won't commit it. Maybe just assuming they think he's already committed it, and he gets away with this. He is within night vision, so they can't see him. He actually
He's
got
got
away
a creep
with
cut,
it.
though.
Yeah, I mean, he'll show himself, but he has a blink TP. Oh, Starif. Nah, not gonna happen. The Gleipnir was probably like 0.5 of a second away, maybe even less.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Yeah, Bale's out. He is going for the Hex now as well in Dolphin, which they do need like this hard control that you can't just get saved with the press the attack on. So Dolphin's Hex is actually going to be pretty massive here in terms of timings. And the side of LBZS will smoke up. They want to sneak around here. They're still pretty damn strong.
Ravage committed. It's only on to CSJ, but to be fair, he is a pretty big target at the moment on that LC. And that is probably going to open up Roshan for LBZS, because you don't have the buyback available on this Legion Commander at the moment. So Infante goes with that God Strength still at half the duration. He can get a lot of damage out. Shard's going to block them in, though, and a double bushwhack now without the BKBs available. Could be a little bit rough. TZY is already gone. Butterfly Effect will move on to Dolphin. They're going to try and ice limit, trying to burst down the Prophet. Chainfrost's going to bounce through. This could be a big team fight. LBZS, they've taken down the Prophet. They've lost Dolphin, but it's going to be well worth it. Starif will drop as well. 2 for 3 trade. But it seems like they can't go for Roshan. They're lacking too much damage without the God Strength.
Yeah, it's not the comfiest. And they still find some kills in exchange. Like, binding Ice Limit's pretty damn big for the side of LBZS. Cloud, maybe get a little bit too excited and jumping in there. And yeah, he just kind of TP's way up forward. Dolphin's also pretty far out of position, but trying to jump into the pit without the BKB at the ready to instantly pop. The control coming out from LBZS just melts him. Has to be a little bit more respectful for that output. And LBZS, again, they can't take Roche, but they find themselves some big kills. You're starting to get that catch up on some of your cores, like Dolphin's almost matching CSJ. It's still a ways off for everyone else up top there.
Roshan's just happening right now, John.
Huh.
See, oh, and a double damage. Of course there's a double damage that spawns. Every time. Here we go. CSJ, he thinks he's Ursa right now, and he's actually getting away with this. When he's got the damage just by himself, they could literally leave him if they wanted to. They'll realize there's no vision here from LBZS to scout this out, so Cloud, they're going to get away with this for free. And that's all off the back of CSJ.
Yeah, they don't check it out on the side of LBZS, and they get punished for it. Smoke play out. Oh boy.
Jump in. TZY, big target, does get jeweled up, is gone. Dolphin trying to help out, but could do nothing. We'll just have to back his own way out of there. In they go for more. God Strength has been popped. They've got Mercy down, but Overgrowth is going to lock down the Sven. Can Cloud try and turn this one? It seems like they will try. Helios, he'll be the target as the Tusk will chase him with the Snowball, but Butterfly Effect getting a bit too far, I think. Leash is there as well from Ice Limit with the Sprout. Fonte trapped in the shards into the Gleipnir. The Force Staff, though, is going to save, but another Sprout out is going to lock him down. He'll quell through it. Butterfly Effect with the double damage. Look at the damage output with the Walrus Punch and CSJ. CSJ's back in. They found Gorkor. They're going to find the Master Boot. Dolphin has nowhere to go but down. Another messy engagement here for LBZS. And I'll tell you, this Sven just can't do anything. Starif just presses R. And he gets locked forever.
Yeah, he's just so kiteable. And again, that's where we see Cloud really shine when they manage to isolate that Sven and just ensure that he's not able to dance around with this damage. We saw that in the bot lane earlier on there. For the side of LBZS, I mean, we talked about the potential of this lineup to be so tanky. It's not feeling that way. And maybe it goes back to the itemization just a little bit. Prioritizing the Ags on TZY as the first item without any sort of durability aura, it means that you are really exposed, and the Hoodwink just feels extra good now as well. TZY?
Ravage committed as the jaw comes out. Sharpshooter somehow not connecting, but they're still finding damage onto TZY. And CSJ, he's got the shards up, so if he commits overwhelming odds, it's just so much bonus armor he gets. As the Mars Dolphin trying to run will not make it out. It's just so rough. And with that, I mean, they've even got the 250 AoE press the attack if they want to really take this fast. They won't for now, but LBZS, I think it's time to call it. Cloud really showing up for game one, and I suppose it goes back to some crafting issues and goes back to some item choices. You already talked about the no auras on this Tide, and you know, after seeing the results, John, I tend to agree with you. LBZS, move in. CSJ though, very quick blink out. The Bloodthorn is going to lock him down, but he got the BKB off in time. Overgrowth once again going to lock him in, and look at CSJ. He's happy to just pop the Aeon Disc. He just pops the Aeon Disc and just gets out of there. They can't hold him. Fonte's still trying. Starif is going to get spotted underneath the Sentry Ward, but now the Bushwhack going to lock them both down. Warriors punch in, Sharpshooter out, Fonte is gone. TZY is just trying to run. Get out of there. Teleport in, Jewel on the other side, catching out the Rubik, he is gone. And LBZS, I mean, they must be thinking very hard about what went wrong in this game number one, because they have called it. Eventually, it will go the way of Team Cloud. And I think that's against anyone's opinion when you look at the Div 2 standings right now, but that's how it does pan out for game one.